Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started, good luck. What is the minimum deployment size for Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? 500 gigabytes. 8 terabytes. 1 terabyte. 100 gigabytes. The minimum deployment size for Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP starts at 8 terabytes. What is a limitation of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP snapshots? They are only accessible from the AWS Management Console. They incur storage costs. They cannot be restored. They are automatically deleted after 30 days. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP snapshots incur storage costs, unlike some other AWS services. Which AWS service can be integrated with Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP for backup purposes? AWS Backup, AWS Code Build, AWS CloudFormation, AWS Direct Connect. AWS Backup is the recommended service for managing backups of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP. Which feature of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP enables efficient data deduplication? CloudWatch metrics, GPU acceleration, inline data compaction, random access memory. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP uses inline data compaction for efficient data deduplication. What are the scaling options available for Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP file systems? Horizontal scaling by adding more file systems. Vertical scaling by increasing the instance type. Scaling the throughput capacity order for higher performance. All of the above. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP offers multiple scaling options: vertical scaling by upgrading the instance type for increased IOPS, horizontal scaling by creating additional file systems, and scaling the throughput capacity order to adjust performance. What is the difference between NFS and CIFS file protocols supported by Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? NFS is a protocol for *NIX-based systems, while CIFS is commonly used on Windows machines. NFS is a block-level protocol, while CIFS is a file-level protocol. NFS offers higher performance compared to CIFS. NFS is primarily used on Windows systems, whereas CIFS is designed for Linux environments. NFS is a protocol for *NIX-based operating systems like Linux and Mac OS, while CIFS is the Windows counterpart used for file sharing. What is the advantage of using cloud tier storage for Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP volumes? Lower latency compared to performance tier storage. Enhanced data durability and replication capabilities. Improved IOPS performance for demanding workloads. Reduced storage costs for infrequently accessed data. Cloud tier storage provides a cost-effective option for storing infrequently accessed data in Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP volumes, optimizing storage costs without impacting performance for frequently used data. What are the considerations when designing an Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP deployment for disaster recovery? Choosing a multi-AZ deployment with snap mirror replication to a secondary region. Utilizing a single AZ deployment for cost efficiency. Selecting a throughput capacity order for consistent performance. Enabling data lifecycle management for automatic tiering. For disaster recovery, a multi-AZ deployment with snap mirror replication to a secondary region is recommended to ensure data redundancy and availability in case of a region-wide outage. Which feature of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP allows for integration with third-party applications? Direct Connect. AWS Direct Connect. Flex Clone. Elastic Load Balancing. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP offers Flex Clone, which enables integration with third-party applications. Which AWS service can assist in optimizing data transfer performance with Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? AWS Budgets. AWS Snowball. AWS Direct Connect. AWS Glue. AWS Direct Connect can optimize data transfer performance with Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP. What is the recommended method for backing up Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP file systems? Using AWS Backup to create scheduled snapshots. Utilizing Amazon Elastic File System for replication. Manually copying data to an Amazon S3 bucket. Employing data lifecycle management policies. AWS Backup provides a centralized and automated solution for creating scheduled snapshots of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP file systems, simplifying backup and recovery processes. How does Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP ensure high availability? By integrating with AWS Lambda. By using dual controllers. By deploying in multiple availability zones. By using RAID. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP achieves high availability by deploying across multiple availability zones. What are the two deployment options available for Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? HA pair with automatic failover, capacity on-demand instances. Single AZ deployment, multi-AZ deployment with synchronous replication. Cloud tier and archive tier. Deployment zone and capacity zone. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP offers single AZ deployments for cost-effective scenarios and multi-AZ deployments with synchronous replication for high availability. What are some use cases for Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? Cost-effective archive for infrequently accessed data. High-performance file storage for enterprise applications. Backup and disaster recovery target for on-premises file systems. Scalable file storage for web content hosting. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP caters to various use cases, including high-performance file storage for demanding applications, scalable file storage for web content management, and migration of existing NetApp workloads to AWS. What is the primary benefit of using Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? High availability across availability zones. Familiar interface and tools for managing file storage. Improved elasticity for file storage. Reduced data storage costs. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP provides a familiar ONTAP file system experience for migrating existing NetApp workloads to AWS. Which service provides fully managed NetApp ONTAP file storage in AWS? Amazon EFS. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP. Amazon S3. AWS Storage Gateway. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP is specifically designed to provide managed NetApp ONTAP file storage. How does Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP manage file permissions? By using POSIX permissions. By assigning static IPs. By using AWS IAM policies. By enabling encryption at rest. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP manages file permissions using POSIX permissions. What is the purpose of the data lifecycle management feature in Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? Encrypt data at rest and in transit. Securely share file systems with other accounts. Schedule snapshots for backups. Automatically migrate data between storage tiers. The Data Lifecycle Management feature in Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP allows users to define policies to transition data between performance and capacity tiers based on access patterns. How are storage volumes managed in Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? As flexible aggregates. As compressed archives. As read-only volumes. As fixed partitions. Storage volumes in Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP are managed as flexible aggregates, allowing dynamic allocation of storage. What are the two primary performance metrics used to measure the throughput of an Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP file system? Latency, ingress bandwidth. IOPS, egress bandwidth. Provisioned IOPS, throughput. Objects created, objects deleted. Provisioned IOPS specifies the number of input/output operations per second, while throughput indicates the data transfer rate of the file system. What type of access control does Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP support? LDAP. NFS v4.1 Kerberos. OAuth. SAML. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP supports NFS v4.1 Kerberos for access control. What is the primary purpose of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP SnapMirror? To enable disaster recovery to a secondary AWS region. To facilitate data migration between on-premises and AWS environments. To create point-in-time backups of file systems. To establish synchronous replication between file systems across availability zones. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP SnapMirror is a replication tool used for establishing synchronous replication between file systems within the same availability zone or across availability zones for disaster recovery purposes. What is the maximum number of directories that can be created in a single file system on Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? 1 million. 1,000. 100,000. 10,000. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP supports up to 1 million directories in a single file system. Which AWS service can automate the deployment of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP? AWS CloudFormation. AWS OpsWorks. AWS Lambda. AWS Elastic Beanstalk. AWS CloudFormation can be used to automate the deployment of Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP resources. How does Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP ensure data integrity? By compressing data. By using checksums. By using random access memory. By replicating data across regions. Amazon FSx for NetApp ONTAP ensures data integrity through the use of checksums. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and, if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.